My name is Debopriyo Biswas, and I did my undergrad at Princeton University. I am from Dhaka, Bangladesh, and like I said, I applied as an international student to colleges in the US. I went to school in Sunnydale. I realized that Princeton would be a good fit for me, and it was for a few reasons. One is that I really wanted to study physics, and Princeton had an amazing physics department. Second, Princeton is very generous with financial aid. They had tremendous focus on undergraduates. Unlike many other Ivies or many other top schools in the US, Princeton was unique because it really focused on making the undergraduate experience one of their priorities. And it shows in a lot of the services, a lot of the narrative that you are surrounded by when you're at Princeton. Of course, every university has its flaws, and I have also recognized many of them going through the university. When I went into Princeton, especially my first year, I felt extremely valued and I felt extremely supported. And of course, there was tutoring help. The teachers were super friendly. I had some of the friendliest teachers that I still have strong connections to. Most universities in the US will accept the Common Application. So the Common Application is this one website where you fill out a bunch of common questions. You write the Common App essay, which is like it's like your statement of purpose. It's the one. This essay will be sent to all the universities that you apply to, and with this with this essay, you get to tell each university that you apply to your story. US university applications are unique because they want to hear your story and they want to get to know you as a person, just not just through your scores, but they want to get to know you as a person besides your academic results. So the essay is a great opportunity for this, and it really comes down to how you want to tell this story. The application process also requires that you submit your test scores, and these are test scores from not just your O-level and A-level or whatever national or whatever curriculum that you are part of, whatever curriculum that you study. It doesn't mean that you just submit your school grades, but also you have to take some standardized tests usually. So my year I took the ACT test and the ACT subject test, and I submitted those scores through the Common App. And when I was filling out the Common App, they would ask me which extracurricular activity, what my role was, and how much time I spent on that role or on that activity each week. And then a little description about what it was. A lot of my extracurriculars also showed that I was passionate about physics because they involved teaching, they involved my engagement with the Physics Olympiad community, they involved my starting the science club at Sunnydale, and I tried to also show that I was able to stay committed to these activities and take leadership if necessary in each of these engagements, and also that I was deeply passionate about physics. A lot of students also are concerned that they don't have the right extracurricular activities or they don't have enough extracurriculars, but I would try to push you to rethink if that's actually true. Let's say you teach your nephew, if you teach your younger sister or brother, if you teach someone, if you tutor someone, that also counts as an extracurricular activity. People often forget that they have small, deep impact on other people in their community, and that also counts as extracurricular activities. In a position to choose which ECAs to pursue in the future, let's say you're in 9th or 10th grade and you are deciding between different things to explore, then I would encourage that you try to stick to the ECA that you choose to take on. And of course, if it's not right for you, then don't stick with it. But the advantage to sticking with something is that it shows that you're committed and that you don't just take something and leave it. You don't just leave a project or you don't just leave an organization halfway. The second time when I applied under early action to Princeton University. And I really encourage everyone to take advantage of early action or early decision at whatever their dream school is or whatever one of their top choice schools is. Use it strategically. I would say definitely try to use it strategically. Since you are applying under early action or early decision, it shows a deeper commitment to the university, and statistically you're more likely to get in during early action or early decision than you are during regular decision. So it just makes sense to take the best advantage of this. Of course, sometimes when you don't have all your application materials ready, then you might think that maybe I should just apply under regular decision since I don't have everything ready yet, since I have to retake the ACT exam, stuff like this get in the way. My essays aren't written yet, my essays aren't great. I would encourage you to nevertheless try to prepare everything ahead of time. Try to plan ahead of time how you can apply early to your top choice school, and plan out a timeline according to that. In O-levels, for example, I took 9 subjects. I was passionate about science throughout school actually, and I took all the science subjects. So in O-levels, I took 9 subjects, including the science subjects that were available: physics, chemistry, bio, math and additional math. And I also studied economics and accounting. And during A-levels, I took 4 subjects, and those were the science subjects. So physics, chemistry, math, and bio. A passion of mine that I pursued throughout high school is physics. I was very passionate about physics, and I participated in the physics Olympiad since I was in 9th grade. So when I was in school, I started a science club at Sunnydale, and there I tried to bring lessons from different Olympiad subjects, for example, math and physics, to high school students, because I believe that those learning experiences should be accessible to high school students, even though they're a little bit more advanced compared to what our Cambridge O-level and A-level curriculum expects. Now, besides the science club, I was also part of this environmental and community service club that we did a few that we organized a few environmentalism and community service projects through. I was also working as an assistant teacher. So in Bangladesh, we have this coaching system, which is sort of like additional learning outside of your high school or outside of your school. So at a coaching, I worked as an assistant teacher of physics. My other extracurriculars involve my involvement with the Physics Olympiad Volunteer Committee. So every year when the Physics Olympiad happened, it happened in several regional competitions, and there were also national competitions. So in the first few years, every regional and national competition, we had a publication, and it was called the Physics Olympiad Souvenir. So for example, if in 2012, if you were participating, everyone participating would get a copy of this publication, and it had a bunch of different articles. And what I did was I tried to organize the volunteers who wrote this article. Sometimes I would be coordinating some logistics for organizing this event, and of course this was disengaged from the academic team who were setting the questions and all that stuff. And during the first few years when I was participating in the Olympiad myself, I was helping with a lot of these volunteering opportunities in the Physics Olympiad. So since I had done the Physics Olympiad, I also had a few awards from participating in the Physics Olympiad, a few medals. I went to the in the national rounds, and also at the international competition in 2014. I got the honorable mention award. Had a few world highest and country highest awards from the Cambridge International Examination Board. So in 10th grade, I had a world highest in physics and a country highest in chemistry. In AS, I think I had world highest in math, country highest in physics, and highest across 4 subjects combined in A2. So AS is equivalent to 11th grade, which is like the first half of your A levels. And in A2, on the combined AS and A2 exams, I had a country highest in A-level biology. So those were the 6 awards that I had. I had my awards from national Olympiads, including physics Olympiad, and there's some other Olympiads that I also really, I was also very passionate about. For example, the biochemistry Olympiad, there was a genetic engineering, biotechnology Olympiad, math Olympiad I had participated in once, and environmental science, earth sciences Olympiad, my bad. So some of these Olympiads that come to mind right now, I also participated in. I took the ACT not 1, not 2, but 3 times, and each time was an improvement for sure. The first time, so back then the ACT score format was out of 2400. There were 3 sections: reading, writing, and math. And I didn't have a lot of trouble with math. I actually scored the full 800 on the math section, and but on reading and writing, I did struggle a lot. The first time I scored, I think, a 610 on reading, and I don't remember the exact total, but the first time I had a total of 2110. The second time, I think it came up to 2170, so it wasn't a huge improvement. But the third time, it was 2380. So 2380 was my best score, and when you apply to universities, they will only look at your best individual section scores. So they will see that instead of looking at the 610 that I had the first time that I took the ACT, they will only see that I have an 800 on the reading section, an 800 on the math section, and a 780 on the writing section. And this is the advantage of super scores, or of taking the ACTs, because they are sort of forgiving in that sense, that they only look at your best possible performance. It is expensive, so you do want to get the best possible score that you can the first time. But ACT, the reading does not come naturally, or it is really a skill to do well in those comprehension tests or those comprehension questions. Of course, the ACT has changed a lot, especially now. So the format must have changed. The sort of skills that are tested have probably also changed a lot. But it is, you really want to think of it as a test that you want to get better at by practice. Practice is really key. The only way I was able to improve so much is by the hours of practice. And after practicing, I would try to find out where I slipped and try to analyze how to get better at those things. I asked my science teacher, who was one of my biology teachers from Princeton, from Sunnydale. I also asked one of my team coaches in the physics Olympiad to write a letter for me, because my coach would be able to vouch for me on my teaching, my physics skills, my engagement in the physics Olympiad, volunteer community, and all of those things. I would say when you're trying to think about who to ask recommendation letters from, try to think about teachers who you have good relationships with, because it's the relationships that matter, and those teachers will usually be able to write something that is meaningful about you, because they know you more deeply.